Good morning, good morning. It's morning on the Rosa. Good morning, neighbors. Welcome back. My name is Mark, and this is Ponderosa Garden Adventures. And today I am out here early in the morning to get a jump on the day. Now, we garden in USDA Agricultural Zone 10A. And so if you're in any of the zones 9, 10, 11, it's a pretty similar situation. The birds are out, we've got a little golden hour going, and I'm going to get some planting done before it gets too hot today. So come and join me. So this season we tried to start things by seed, and some of them worked, some of them didn't. We've had a lot of heat waves, and so it tended to kind of kill off our seedlings. So what happens this time of season, we're halfway through summer. At this point in the season, it's too late to sow seeds, so we just go out, we bite the bullet, and we buy some starts. So I've got some collard greens, kale, pumpkins, marigolds, and sunflower. I'm going to get as many of those in as I can before it gets too hot out here and call it a day. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the pumpkins. So let's head over to the pumpkin arch. All right, I'm going to begin by planting these two pumpkins here in the pumpkin arch, and let me show you how I'm planning to do that. So what I want to do is plant one on this side, one on this side, and hope that they come over and meet at the top of the arch. Okay, let's get started. First, I'm going to remove these bean plants that have been growing here all summer. Even though they're green, they're not producing any more beans, so I'll just take them out and all the climbing poles. And I'm going to throw some soil on top of that. This isn't really soil, this is soil conditioner. It's more like a mulch, but it's just to add some depth. All right, well, let's get this guy in the ground. Looks good. It is a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. They get about 5 to 10 pounds, not too huge. And there he is. All right, let's put some flowers over here. That there. All right. Here's a marigold. This one's really root bound, so I don't know what to do about that. Well, let's give it a try. Let's give it a shot. So I'm going to sprinkle a little fertilizer around. And I'll just work that in to the soil around it. There we go. Same thing here. Work it into the soil. That's enough fertilizer for now. Next, I'm going to put down some bunny repellent. The bunnies are like, oh, I spilled it. Oh boy. This is just garlic powder, so it's harmless, but you don't want to overdo it. So let's get this guy in next. And I want him right up here. So this is where the other pumpkin was, the one that actually produced a pumpkin already this summer. And then it's died. So irrigation is. Okay, so I'm going to put it right up against the fence. Put some fertilizer in there. Put lots in. Let's give this guy a good start. Let's see, I want it nestled right up against the trellis here. So that looks good right about there. Over and in it goes. So we'll put one here. All right, so pour a little fertilizer in each one. Put a nice orange one over here. And we'll put one of these pretty ones over here. Look at that. Isn't that nice? All right. Always adds a nice splash of color and definitely attracts pollinators. The marigold. And they're fairly easy to grow, but the ones I grew from seed this year didn't make it, so I had to buy starts instead. And this time, I'm just going to put the bunny repellent on top. You can see it, but it's okay. It'll kind of fade. We want to keep the bunny out of there. Keep it away from my pumpkins. All right, well, I'm done planting the pumpkins. These are jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, and it says 75 days to harvest. So today is August 10th. Quick, what is 75 days? And there are 21 days in August, 30 in September, 51, 24 is 75. That's October 24th, which is 1 week before Halloween. So if I've timed it carefully enough, we will actually be getting pumpkins ripening the week before Halloween. Wouldn't that be perfect? Tune in to find out what happens. All righty. Getting warm out here. So in this next part, I'm going to be planting these green leafy vegetables, collard greens, and some kale. And I've got 3 different kinds. I've got a green kale, a lanceolate, and a red kale. And then I've got one of each along here, so I'm going to plant these 3 in here. So I'm using this container here because my theory is that it might be too high for bunnies and other animals to get into. I'm probably wrong about that, but we'll find out. And then I've got some marigolds. I'm going to put a splash of color in the middle. All right, so let's get started. So I'll start over here. Far side, the hard side. Put a little starter in there. So I've got just a basic 555 organic fertilizer plus a little malorganite for a little boost in nitrogen and some Epsom salts for that's magnesium sulfate for adds a little sulfur, which these kind of plants need. All right, and let's start with that red one on the end there. Let's see how that's doing. All right, looks significantly root bound, so let's see how it does. Not overly root bound, but significantly. Well, that was easy. Let's get the next one in there. Let's do the greenie over here. I just noticed something, that I don't have irrigation to this pot yet, so I'm going to have to think about that. But I'm not going to worry about that yet. I can always water it by hand. So the greenie goes in here. Again, significantly root bound. So it's a good thing we're getting them into the ground. That guy looks happy there. The kale will get really big. So this thing is going to be full by the time if these all blossom or grow at the same time. You don't need much, just for starters. And this is the lacinato. Yeah, we're just gonna put that like right there. Looking good. And now for the collard green. I probably should have done the collard green first because that's the bigger one. Let's get the collard green in here. I'm gonna put it right next to the edge here. Is that big enough for my collard greens? I'll have them pointed out this way so they grow. Try to grow outside. Boy, there's just no way to do that, is there? How about like that? That looks good. Whew, it's gonna be crowded in here. All right. So collard greens. Go away. It's a June bug. If you know a good recipe for collard greens, leave them in the comments. Oh my gosh, look how root bound that is. Look how root bound that is. Oh my gosh. Collard green, you go, you do your thing. Man, I don't know what it's gonna be okay. So that's what happens sometimes when they're so root bound and they don't put roots out. So let's get it in there and just hope for the best. Like I said, let's do one of the marigolds right here in the middle. Oh, doesn't that look festive? Okay, now they're already competing. Oh well. It's a bit crowded in here, folks, but we're going to be okay. We can even do this. Like for the lacinato, I can just put this, put over the two of these. Let's put it over the lacinato. So we'll save at least one of them. See how fast that grows. All right, well, we're done with the kale and the collard greens. The last thing I'm going to do is go plant some sunflowers over in Corfu. So let's go. Right, so for this last part, I am out in the raised bed we call Corfu. And I'm going to be planting the sunflowers, and I'll be planting some marigolds also around the edge. So the first thing I have to do is pull out some of the dead flowers, move the mulch, and put some soil in. Tidy that up. This aside, right next to this irrigation line here. That sounds perfect, right there. Yeah, it looks like there's a little deficit of soil. Put some of this potting mix in here. Make a hole. Dig. These sunflowers are just going to take off. That's probably more than a sunflower needs. That's going to be interesting. Well, let's start with this one. What I expected. Pretty root bound. Let's get this thing in the ground. Put it in this way. And hope that works. And now we'll get water on a daily basis by this irrigation line. So should be good to go. A little sign in there. Push all the mulch back. They're called Titan sunflowers. They're supposed to get 10 to 12 feet tall, so should be interesting. All right. Now, to the next one. It's gonna be right over here. There's a line right there. Perfect. Oh, there we go. And while we're at it, let's harvest some of these tomatoes. Go. Another good harvest of tomatoes this week. All right, folks, well, that's it for today. We are done with all the planting. We got the sunflowers, the marigolds, the collard greens, the kale, and the pumpkin. Whew, and it is getting hot out here, so I'm going to head indoors and call it a day. But be sure to get out there and enjoy your garden today. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you're planting this summer. Like, subscribe, and tune in. I will be posting updates as the sunflowers blossom. I love sunflowers. They're one of my favorite flowers, and nothing says summer like sunflowers. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching Ponderosa Garden Adventures. For Mark and Sharon, we'll see you next time.